It's time for the next chapter where we explore the inspiring journeys of people who've embraced new beginnings after their initial careers. Terry Holloman joins me now, and Terry, you actually sat down with former Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Sidney Rice, right?
Oh yeah, I did. It was a lot of fun. Interesting to find out what he's doing with his life right now. And after an impressive NFL career, Sidney transitioned into the world of entrepreneurship with the same drive that made him a star athlete. Most people out here know you for your storied career in the NFL. You are an all-pro bowler, time in Minnesota, then you came to Seattle. When you left Minnesota and heard that you were coming to Seattle, what was your impressions of Seattle, Washington?
We actually had a funny joke when we were in Minnesota. A couple of the players on the team, we thought Seattle was the worst place you could possibly go.
Why? Why?
We only heard bad things about Seattle. It's rainy, it's gloomy, nobody wants to stay there. So free agent after Minnesota, ended up signing here, Seattle Seahawks. Our offensive coordinator and my former quarterback in Minnesota had both came out to Seattle. So it's an easy choice for me.
You had a great career here in Seattle, won a Super Bowl, but just like anybody that plays the game of football, there has to come a point where the game says there's no more for you, Sidney. What was that point like for you, and what did you feel like? What was your thoughts of your next step?
I really didn't have the passion to play anymore, and it's definitely not a place where you want to be out there going through the motions. So I called my mom, had a chat with her, said I think I'm going to retire. She's like, great, if that's what you want to do it. I'll just cancel my DirecTV. Just the only reason she had it was to watch me play games, but tough transition post-retirement.
It was a tough transition, but you moved into some other things. You were very business savvy. Was that something that came immediately or naturally for you?
Yes. And then obviously surrounding yourself with really good people. And I was convinced to start a business or get into something that I would have residual income coming in before I retired. The Wingstop was my favorite food. I love chicken wings. Adrian Peterson and I used to we were roommates on the road, we traveled, but every time we left, we tried to find a Wingstop.
Right.
We had to find a Wingstop, favorite thing. And then when I got to Bellevue, there was only one in the whole state, and it was like 15 minutes from my house. So I spent like 4 days a week down there grabbing wings. I'll eat a 20-piece before I got back to my driveway. But ended up asking the manager there who owned the place, because I was interested, and he introduced me to his dad, who actually had 6 or 7 of them down in the LA area. He brought the first one to Washington, and he was kind enough to take me under his wing, and very fortunate.
So how many Wingstops do you have? You're talking about the Wingstops in the state of Washington?
Yeah, so we actually sold them off a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago now. We did the first 7 in Washington.
Wow. How do you move from the NFL to Wingstop to now owning this winery, Dossier? Tell us about this.
COVID hit, wanted to drink something other than hard alcohol, especially being at home all day.
Yes, tell me about it.
I was done with the whiskey, vodka, tequila thing. So I wanted to drink a little bit more wine, and started drinking it, posting it on social media. And then all of these people from everywhere started sending me wine. And I'm like, all right, what is this? This is actually fun. So that's when I started buying the books, reading about it, learning about it. And my business partner, Tim, was like, hey man, you got to start drinking some more Washington wines. Like, you got good wine here. I'm like, all right, let's drink some Washington wine then. One day I mentioned wanting to do a wine project, and he just lit up. Him being from Yakima and going to school in Walla Walla, he had a ton of friends who are already in the industry making wine and things like that. He had always wanted to go back and do something. So with our passions for wine, we figured it would be a good time to start the brand. We produce the wine out of Walla Walla, so we have another tasting room there. We make the wine there. We opened that one November of 23, and then we opened this one in July of 24 last year. So this one's brand new, but it's been great to expand over here to this side of the mountain, and we got a lot of club members on this side, so it's been awesome.
You have some award-winning wines. Tell us about some of the vineyards, the varieties that you have here.
So we do 7 different varietals. We have a Rosé, Sauvignon Blanc, Cab, Bordeaux blend, Red blend, Syrah, a Viognier. We're doing our first Pinot this year, which will be the only wine that we make outside of the state of Washington, and that one's from Willamette Valley. But we do have a couple of award-winning wines. Last year we won the best red blend in Washington State by wine enthusiasts. It was also number 38 on the top 100 wines of the world by wine enthusiasts.
Wow.
Which was a complete shock, but we were super grateful and excited about that because those are our first vintages. So the bar is set really high, so we just got to keep pushing. We also got the highest rated white wine in Washington State history by wine enthusiasts, which was a 97-point Sauvignon Blanc.
You could have taken your business anywhere in the world, really. Why did you choose to stay here in Western Washington and build your foundation here?
It grew on me. As I mentioned before, when I first got here, I did not like it. I did not want to be here. I didn't really know at the time that it had grown on me tremendously, and I would want to come back here. It's just so peaceful and relaxing. Love the people. 100% the best summers in the country. You cannot beat the summers here. And I bought my first home here and started my first businesses here and built a lot of great relationships around the city. And that was my main catalyst for staying.
Okay, that looked like the most fun day. Yep. I'm upset I didn't get the call.
You didn't get the email?
I didn't.
It went out to everybody. I'm surprised. I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
It was a fun day. It wasn't a bad day. Drinking wine all afternoon with a former Pro Bowl NFL superstar.
Oh my gosh, and you seem so nice, so down to earth. You got swag.
I did.
You brought us some wine, so let's taste test. What are we tasting today?
This is their Sauvignon Blanc. This is the first one I ever had. I actually had it at an auction and didn't know it was Sidney's wine. And then I was like, who made this? And they said, it's Dossier. Sidney Rice owns the winery. And I was like, I got to get in there. And so it's very good, is it not?
It is very good. I always love a Sauv Blanc. I feel like this is great, like sitting on your porch, like spring's coming, like so fresh. This is very crisp and light.
Very much so. And like I said, and here's the thing about this. When you hear like a celebrity has gotten behind a wine or a spirit, you kind of think, it's kind of trashy, kind of gimmicky. Absolutely not with these guys. These guys put the product first and the customer first and said, what are the people are going to like to taste? What do we like to taste? And really have put together a solid product here.
They really, really did. I hear that you said this kind of changed your life after you drank it. You thought it was quite good.
It did. See, I used to drink like Thunderbird and Wild and
I don't even know what Thunderbird is.
Strawberry Hill. That was my fine point.
Are we talking about Franzia?
Yeah, we're talking about box wine. I'm a box wine guy. And then I had a little of this, and I was like I said, I got thoroughly interested in the whole process, and that's why I ended up hooking up with Sidney. Like I had met him before, but I said I need to get in and try your wine.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And it's now available at Total Wine and More, which is awesome. What's the overall vibe too? We saw that was in Woodinville, right? The tasting room you all went to.
Well, Woodinville is of course Western Washington wine country, right?
Absolutely.
And it's smack dab in the middle. The vibe there was incredible. It's warm, it's homey. They have a fireplace there. They also have a setup where it's kind of like an indoor-outdoor vibe thing going on where you can see yourself. Like they have it covered here in the wintertime, so we were protected from the elements, but you can see in the summertime, you can kick back. It will be a vibe, and I'm looking forward to that.
I am too, and I better get my invite for that one.
Right now, I'm sending the email out now.
And a lot of the guys from this era too have really been successful in the business world. So talking about that.
Talking about the Seahawks, former
the
Seahawks that were from that era where they played on that Super Bowl team. A lot of those guys have been successful business. We've actually talked to a couple of them. You're thinking about the Cliff Averill, who's had much success in the world of real estate and construction. You talk about guys like even Marshawn Lynch. To me, who I've heard lots about this guy, he's been the catalyst for a lot of the investment ideas that are taking place out here with some of these players. Jermaine Kearse has started up a golf facility here in Tacoma and in Redmond. Bobby Wagner, Doug Baldwin, all these guys. And I think it's just a tribute to the effort that they put into becoming super successful athletes. That also transfers into the world of business and entrepreneurship. You know, it's the same kind of drive, the same kind of focus it takes to be successful on the field. That's what it takes in the business world.
I know, they're crushing it. Some other news right before we go. Pete is off to the Raiders.
Pete Carroll!
Makes me sad, but...
It's a little sad. It's a little sad, but also glad because he's back working. It's a guy that's back out in the workforce, contributing to, you know, our tax. But no, it's great to have him back. You know, he's an older guy, obviously going to be the oldest coach in the National Football League, but go give these young guys something.
You're amazing. Thank you for being here.